Assalamu alaikum, dear student. We will talk about today topic, that is mitochondria, that is the powerhouse of the cell. This is a very important organelle, and you have learned in your previous classes about this cellular organelle is the most important in the sense that it provides energy in the form of ATP to the cells for metabolic activities which are occurring inside in the cell, chemical activities, chemical reaction. So these chemical reaction which maintain life is because of this important cell organelles, that is mitochondria. So let's talk about the mitochondria. The word mitochondria is derived from two Greek words, that is mitos and chondrion, chondrus or chondrion. Mitos mean thread or filament. Mitos mean thread or filament, and chondrion is derived the Greek word, that is chondrion or chondrus, which mean granule. So mitochondria is a thread-like or filament-like or granulated structure which can be seen in all eukaryotic cell except prokaryotic cell, because just like other major cell organelles, this cell organelle is also absent in the case of prokaryotic cell, that is bacterial cell and blue-green algal cells. Now, who discovered this important cell organelles? This important cell organelles was for the first time seen as granules in 1850. That is why it was given the name as granulated structure, because it was for the first time seen or observed in 1850. Later on, it was discovered by Richard Altman in 1890. Richard Altman in 1890. And later on, it was Carl Benda in 1898 who coined the word mitochondria for such type of granules or filamentous structure inside in the eukaryotic cell. So this is all about the discovery or the history of discovery of the mitochondria. Now what is the location? As I told you, that mitochondria is present in all eukaryotic cell, that is plant cell, animal cells, fungal cells, unicellular organism, multicellular organism, but they are totally absent from the prokaryotic cell, that is bacterial cell and blue-green algal cell, that is cyanobacteria. But also in eukaryotic cell, for example in the human body, red blood cells, they are present, but they are absent in mature red blood cell, although they are present in the young red blood cell. But once the young red blood cells mature, it got maturity, so it lost its mitochondria, including other cell organelles in them. So because mature red blood cells, they are not cells but act as a respiratory pigment, and these respiratory pigment ferry gases, ferry oxygen and carbon dioxide inside in the human body. So that is why mature red blood cells, they are the cells having no mitochondria in them, because upon maturity they act as respiratory pigment which carry oxygen as well as carbon dioxide in the form of oxyhemoglobin and carboxyhemoglobin. Now let's talk about the morphology, how it look like when it is observed under the electron microscope. It can also be seen with the ordinary compound microscope, but it appear vesicle or boat shaped structure, but under the electron microscope it can be seen in the form of what? Vesicles, rod, filament, thread board shape structure. So it exists in variety of shapes. There is a variety in the shape of what? Mitochondria. Now what is the structure of what? Mitochondria. Mitochondria is a double membranous structure in the form of what? Envelope. Double membranous structure means that mitochondria is surrounded by two kinds of membrane in the form of what? Envelope. That is outer membrane, which is smooth in appearance, and other membrane is inner membrane, which lie beneath the outer membrane. Next to the outer membrane there is the inner membrane. Outer membrane is smooth in appearance. Chemical composition is just like other membrane, that is protein and lipids. Inner membrane is not smooth just like the outer membrane, but instead it have enfoldings or shelves or partition, chambers or villi or villi-like structure, which is also present in the small intestine of human body. So these enfoldings which are present in the inner membrane, they are in the form of, these are the enfoldings. You can see in this diagram, this is the inner membrane. Inner membrane is not smooth, but instead it have enfoldings. These are the enfoldings, shelves or partition or chamber or villi-like structure, which is called cristae. Singular is called crista. Now what is the function or role of what? Cristae. The most important function of these cristae are they increase the surface area for oxidative phosphorylation, that is the formation of ATP, because the main role of mitochondria is to produce energy in the form of what? ATP, and this function is performed by the enfoldings of the inner membrane, which are called cristae. So cristae is the structural and functional unit, you can say, of the mitochondria. Anything happen, any different reactions which occur inside the mitochondria is because of what? These cristae, especially the energy production in the form of ATP. Now we will further elaborate these cristae. The number of cristae, they are different in different mitochondria because it depends upon the requirement of the cell. If energy demand of a cell is more, so the number of cristae in those mitochondria will be more. For example, muscle cells or cardiac cells or skeletal muscle cells have abundant cristae in their mitochondria due to their more energy demand as compared to the ordinary somatic cells. So the number of cristae in the mitochondria will be 100 to 1000 per mitochondria. As I told you, the number of cristae, it depends upon the energy requirement or energy demand of the cells. For example, muscle cells and cardiac muscle cells have more cristae in their mitochondria due to their more energy demand, because more ATP will be required for their functioning. Now cristae, they are present inside in the matrix. Matrix is a gel-like material which also acts as ground substance for the different material present or different organelles present inside in the mitochondria. So all these things, all the cristae, DNA, ribosome, all they are present in this matrix. Also this matrix provide site for different chemical reaction, that is citric acid cycle, that is Krebs cycle. So all these things, they are present in the matrix. Now Matrix is the combination of what different solutions, and this solution contain different kinds of oxidative enzymes plus coenzymes, organic and inorganic salts. They are the part of what this matrix. Also this matrix contain the cell organelles, that is DNA and ribosomes. From this you can imagine that mitochondria is such an organelles having their own DNA and their own ribosome. So due to the presence of own DNA and own ribosomes, the mitochondria, they are regarded as autonomous bodies. Autonomous body mean which are independent in their replication and their functioning. They are self-replicating body. Self-replicating bodies are those bodies which doesn't depend upon the cell for their own division, for their own replication to increase their number. They can be replicated in any time, irrespective of the cell division, that whenever the cell division occurs, so the number will be increased. No, the number of mitochondria can be increased independent of the cell division in which these mitochondria they are present. So because of these characteristics, that is their own DNA and own ribosome, mitochondria they are regarded as autonomous body, self-replicating body and independent bodies. Also, as I told you, cresti is the most important part of the mitochondria, because these are the cresti which have knob-like structure in them. At the inner surface of the cresti or inner surface of the inner membrane, knob-like structure they are present. These are knob-like structure. This is one knob-like structure, which consists of a head and a spike, which is embedded inside in the cresti or inner surface of the cresti inside in the matrix of mitochondria. So these knob-like structure they are called F1 particles. F1 particles are elementary particles, or they are also called oxysomes. The number of oxysomes, they may be 104 to 105. Now F1 straightforward, F1 stands for fraction 1. F1 mean fraction 1, and they are the site of oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation is that process where the formation of ATP occurs. The main role of mitochondria is produce ATP. So where ATP they are synthesized? In these knob-like structure which are present in the inner surface of the cresti inside in the matrix. And what they perform, they are the site of oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation is that process in which the ADP react with inorganic phosphate with the help of ATP synthase enzyme. ADP and inorganic phosphate react together to produce ATP, which are the energy currency in the biological world, which are energy molecules which provide energy for different chemical reaction occurring inside in the mitochondria, not only occurring inside in the mitochondria but also in the whole cells and for other cell organelles. So that is why mitochondria is called powerhouse of the cell, power generating plants or power generating units of the living cells. Also The matrix, mitochondrial matrix is the site of what? Second step of what? Aerobic respiration, that is Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle also occur inside in the matrix of what? Mitochondria. Why? Due to the presence of what? Required enzymes and coenzymes which are involved in the Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. This is the second step of what? Aerobic respiration. The first is the glycolysis which occur in the cytosol of the cytoplasm. Third step of the aerobic respiration, that is electron transport chain, respiratory electron transport chain, which is the third step of aerobic respiration, also occur in the mitochondria, but the location is different. As I told you, citric acid cycle, Krebs cycle occur in the matrix of the what? Matrix of the mitochondria due to the presence of respective enzymes and coenzymes, while the electron transport chain occur at the inner surface of the inner membrane, inner surface, due to the presence of what? Various enzymes and coenzymes and various electron carriers. They are present at the inner surface of the inner membrane. So the site of production of ATP in the electron transport chain occur at the inner surface of the inner membrane of the mitochondria. So the overall function of what? The overall function of mitochondria, that is, they are the powerhouse or energy production units of the plant, which that is units which provide energy for the whole cells to proceed metabolic activities. Also, mitochondria is the site of what? ATP production. ATP production occur due to the presence of what? F1 particle knob-like structure, where oxidative phosphorylation occur, and ADP inorganic phosphate in oxidized form, they are converted into activated form, that is ATP. Also, the mitochondria, they are the site of what? Fatty acid metabolism. Fat metabolism also occur inside in the mitochondria. So this is all about the mitochondria. We will conclude again that what is mitochondria? Mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. The etymology says that the word mitochondria is derived from a Greek word mitos and chondrion, that is thread and granule. Discovery Richard Altman and Carl Benda, first seen as granules. Location is all eukaryotic cell but absent in mature red blood cells, as they are not cell but act as a respiratory pigment. Morphology is that under the microscope, electron microscope, they appear as vesicle, rod, filament, thread or board-shaped structure. Double structure suggests that mitochondria is a double membrane structure, outer membrane and inner membrane in the form of envelope. Outer membrane is smooth while inner membrane have enfoldings, partition or chambers in them, which are called cristae, and singular is called cresta, which increase the surface area for the oxidative phosphorylation for the production of ATP. And also cristae have knob-like structure, which are called F1 particle or elementary particle, which are also called oxisome, which are the site of what? Oxidative phosphorylation, that is ATP formation occurs here. Also, the mitochondria have their own ribosomes and DNA, just like cell have ribosome and DNA. Mitochondria have their own DNA and ribosome in them. So it indicates that mitochondria, they are independent organelles, self-lubricating organelles and autonomous bodies. They can synthesize their own protein and they can guide the function of what? The presence of DNA can control the function of what? Mitochondria. Whatever happen, whatever occur inside in the mitochondria, it is because of the control of what? DNA inside in the mitochondria. Also, the mitochondria is the site of what? Different chemical pathway. That is the second step of what? Aerobic respiration, that is Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle or TCA cycle occur here in the matrix upward mitochondria. Also third step of aerobic respiration, that is electron transport chain occur at the inner surface of the inner membrane due to the presence of what? Various electron carriers, various electron carriers and various complexes, various pumps, they are present. So this is all about the mitochondria. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will discuss about the most important plant organelles, that is plastids. So let's start. Plastids, the word plastids, they are derived from a Greek word, that is plastus, and plastus in Greek mean shaped. It was for the first time discovered by Ernst Haeckel, but later on a clear definition was given by F.W. Schirmer, a German scientist or German botanist. According to Schirmer, those cell structures responsible for photosynthesis in plants, they are called plastids. So this is all about the discovery of the plastids. Now what is the definition of what plastids? Plastids, they are pigments containing membrane bonded organelles in green plants responsible for photosynthesis. They are called plastids. So what are plastids? Plastids, they are pigments containing membrane bonded bodies present only in plant and responsible for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a food building process, food preparation process of the green plants. Now there are three types of what plastids. Plastids can be divided into three types, that is chloroplast. First is chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. These are the three kinds of what major types of what plastids, which are pigment containing bodies in green plants. Chloroplast, they are green plastids. Chromoplast, they are coloring plastids, and leucoplast, they are colorless plastids. We will discuss one by one in detail. First of all, we will discuss chloroplast. Among these three, chloroplasts, they are very important. They are very important. They are vital for the functioning of what plant cells. As they are green plastid, they are responsible for photosynthesis, because these are the chloroplasts which are responsible for the phenomena of photosynthesis, which is a food preparation, food building process of the plants. So these are the green plastid chloroplasts which are responsible for photosynthesis. So from this you can imagine the importance of chloroplast. Chloroplast. The word chloroplast is derived from two Greek words. They are Greek in origin. That is, chloro mean green and plast mean plastids, that is pigment containing membrane bounded bodies in the plants. Morphology of the chloroplast, that is the size of chloroplast in the plant cell. One thing should be remember that chloroplasts, they are mainly present in the green leaves, and because of the presence of chloroplast in them, in the leaves of plants look like green in appearance due to the presence of what? Chloroplast, which is a kind of what? Plastid. Morphology suggests that chloroplast is 4 to 6 micrometer in diameter. 4 to 6 micrometer in diameter. In shape they are disc-like structure. They are disc-like structure. Further, chloroplast is consist of what? Three components. Chloroplast is consist of three components, three parts. The first part is envelope. The first part is envelope. Envelope is a double membrane structure. Double membrane structure. Just like mitochondria, chloroplast is also a double membrane structure which is called envelope. Second component is grana. Grana is responsible for what? Light reaction upward photosynthesis, or you can say that grana is the site upward light reaction upward photosynthesis for the production of ATP. Just like mitochondria, chloroplast is also responsible for energy production in the plant cells, and hence the process of photosynthesis proceed further, and then glucose is synthesized at the end of what? Photosynthesis. So the main role of what? Chloroplast is upward grana, because these are the grana which provide energy. We will discuss it later on. The third component is stroma, which is the major portion of what? Chloroplast. We will discuss these three components. A chloroplast is consists of three components, that is envelope, grana and stroma. As I told you, chloroplast is mainly present in green leaves, and because of the presence of chloroplast, the plant leaves appear green in color. Green in color. And these are the green leaves which are responsible for photosynthesis. When a section or transverse section is cut from the leaves and observed under the electron microscope, so under the electron microscope, the chloroplast can be seen consists of these three components, that is, first of all, envelope. As I told you, envelope means that any body which is consist of what? Two membrane, that is outer membrane. This is the cross section or transverse section of what? A plant leaf observed under the microscope. So this diagram, this is the ultrastructure, fine structure of the chloroplast under the electron microscope. So under the electron microscope, chloroplast appear in an envelope structure, that is, it is consist of two kinds of membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. Outer membrane and inner membrane, just like the mitochondria is a double membranous structure. In between the outer membrane and inner membrane, there is a space which is called inner membrane or intermembrane space, which is again just like the mitochondria, intermembrane space of the mitochondria. Here the intermembrane space of the chloroplast. Inside in the inner membrane, a vast region can be seen in the form of a gel-like consistency material that is called matrix. Matrix is a vast portion, gel-like portion of chloroplast, which contain different kinds of enzymes, that is photosynthetic enzyme responsible for photosynthesis process. Also it contain coenzymes, also it contain different kinds of salts. This matrix also contain DNA and ribosomes of the chloroplast, just like mitochondria have their own DNA and their own ribosomes, and hence called independent bodies or self-replicating bodies or autonomous body. So just like mitochondria, chloroplast is also regarded as autonomous body, self-replicating bodies, or independent bodies or cell organelles, because due to the presence of their own ribosomes and their own DNA in the matrix of chloroplast, which is responsible for the activity, that is the photosynthetic activity occurring inside in the chloroplast. So that is why chloroplast is a independent or self-replicating or autonomous cell organelles of the plants. Further, Inside in the chloroplast there are two main regions. That is, one is called the stroma, which is a vast region, extended region. The major portion of the chloroplast is consist of stroma. This is the stroma region, where all the matrix, all the salts, enzymes, coenzymes, DNA and ribosomes, they are present. This stroma is the site of what? This stroma is the site of what? Dark reaction of what? Photosynthesis. Dark reaction of photosynthesis mean that here C3 cycle occurs or Calvin cycle occur for the carbon dioxide fixation for the synthesis of what? Glucose. So stroma is the site of what? That is carbon dioxide fixation for the glucose production, which is the food of the plant, which is the end product of the photosynthesis process. So this process of production of glucose occur in this stroma region. So from this you can imagine the importance of the stroma region. The major or vast extended portion of the chloroplast, it is called stroma. Inside in the stroma there is another region which is called grana. This is the second region of what? This is the first region, stroma, or also this is the second component, and third component is the grana region. Grana, they are called grana because of the appearance of what? Green color due to the presence of chloroplast pigments. So the grana appear green in color due to the presence of what? Chlorophyll molecule in them. Grana is the site of what? Light reaction of what? Photosynthesis. And grana is responsible for the absorption of what? Energy from the sun. And this energy, solar energy, is captured by molecules of grana, that is the chlorophyll molecule, and energy of the sun is, that is solar energy, is converted into and stored into, that is ATP plus NADPH2 molecule. We will discuss this process in detail in photosynthesis process in chapter number 4. So grana is the site of what? Light reaction of what? Photosynthesis. Then grana is the combination of what? Grana is consist of what? Sacs like structure, which are called thylakoid sacs. These are the thylakoid sacs which appear coin like structure, and these thylakoid sacs stacks upon each other just like the coins stacks upon each other. So the grana appear as coin like structure, stacks upon each other. The number of thylakoid sacs in a grana is up to 50. The number of thylakoid sacs in the formation of a grana or granum is 50. The number may be 50. If we take one granum, this is the one granum which is also called thylakoid sacs. These are the thylakoid sacs or grana. If we take one thylakoid sac or granum, so this is one granum. Thylakoid sac is surrounded by a membrane which is biomembrane, and inside in it there is a cavity which is called lumen, which is filled by different materials, that is different kinds of salts, different kinds of enzymes, water, coenzymes. They are present inside in the thylakoid sac in the cavity, that is called lumen. The thylakoid sac or grana appear green in color due to the presence of granules of what? Chlorophyll. You can see these granulated structure, they are actually chlorophyll, and because of the chlorophyll the grana appear green in color. And these are the grana which capture energy from the sun. Sunlight or solar energy is captured by thylakoid sac because of the presence of what? Chlorophyll in them, and transfer this energy into ATP. plus NADPH2, which are the product of what? Light reaction of photosynthesis. I told you grana is the site of what? Light reaction of photosynthesis. What will be the light product of light reaction of photosynthesis? That is ATP and NADPH2, which is synthesized with the help of what? Light energy from the sun or solar energies from the sun captured by these grana inside in the chloroplast, which are present in the green leaves. That is why green leaves, they are the site of what? Photosynthesis, which is the food preparation, food building process of the plants. So this is all about the chloroplast structure. That is, it is consists of three components: envelope, grana and stroma. Also, one thing should be remembered, that grana, they are interconnected with each other with the help of what? An intermembranous structure. These membranous structure, they are called intergrana, which connect one grana with another grana for the transfer of what? What is the function of intergrana? They transfer energy between these grana. And this energy is then provided to the stroma region for the C3 cycle, Calvin cycle, for the dark reaction or for the carbon dioxide fixation, and hence finally glucose will be synthesized or glucose will be formed by utilizing the energy of the grana, which is captured from the sun. So finally, ultimately, the solar energy or the light energy will be harvested, stored in the grana region in the form of what? ATP and NADPH2. These are the grana which provide energy to the stroma for the synthesis of what? For the synthesis of carbon dioxide fixation or glucose. So in the first step of what? Photosynthesis, light will be absorbed, harvested and stored, and then that light energy will be utilized in the synthesis of what? Glucose in the stroma region of what? Chloroplast. An interesting feature of what? Chloroplast is that there is analogy between what? Two molecules, that is chlorophyll and hemoglobin. Chlorophyll and hemoglobin molecule, they are same in structure, because chlorophyll molecules, the basic structure is same, but they are different in their function. Because chlorophyll, the central atom is magnesium, but in hemoglobin the central atom will be iron. Chlorophyll is responsible for photosynthesis, while hemoglobin is responsible for carrying upward oxygen and carbon dioxide. So the similarity between chlorophyll and hemoglobin molecule is both have the same basic structure, that is head and tail, but they are different in their function and the presence of what? Central atom. Chlorophyll have magnesium as central atom, while hemoglobin have iron as their central atom. That is why functionally they are different from each other. So this is all about the word chloroplast. Now we will discuss the second type of plastid, that is called chromoplast. Chromoplast, they are coloring plastid other than green, because green plastid, they are chloroplast. Other than green, they are chromoplast. And these are the chromoplast which are responsible for what? Pollination and fertilization. It provides sort of what? Attraction to the pollinator, that is honeybees or other insects, and these insects come to the flower to pollinate them, then fertilization occurs, and then as a result of what? Pollination and fertilization, fruit and seed formation occurs. And also because of what? Chromoplast, the dispersals of what? Fruit and seed occurs. So this is because of what? Different beautiful colors in the plants parts, that is petals of the flowers have chromoplast in them, ripened Fruits and veggies have chromoplast in them. Autumn leaves have characteristic shades because of what? Chromoplast. So chromoplast is coloring plastid responsible for what? Pollination and fertilization in the plants, and because of chromoplast dispersals of what? Fruits and seeds occur because the pollinator, different kinds of insect, different kinds of birds attract towards these beautiful colors in these plants because of chromoplast. So not only they are pollinated, but also they help in the fertilization, and also the seeds they are dispersed from the parent plants away to the remote region, and in this way they ensure their life cycle, and they ensure their to ensure their continuity of their life. So this is because of what? Chromoplast, they are coloring plastids other than green and have attraction for pollinator. So that is why they are involved in the pollination and fertilization of what? Plants. Third type is leucoplast. As the name suggests, leucoplast is also a Greek word. Leuco mean colorless. Leuco mean colorless. Plast mean plastids. So they are colorless plastids. They are also called storage plastids. They are abundantly present in the storage parts of the plant. Storage parts, they are root, stem, leaves, and underground stem. So they are abundantly present in the storage parts of the plant. That is why they are called storage plastids. In shape they are tubular or triangular. In the shape they are tubular or triangular. What is the location? As I have told you, leucoplast, colorless plastids, they are present in the storage parts of the plant. There are three types of leucoplasts. That is amyloplast, that is starch storing plastid. These plastids, they are responsible for the storage of starch or carbohydrate in plant parts. That is why they are abundantly present in the underground stem, roots, and different kinds of seeds, that is cereal crops. Second type of leucoplast is proteoplast. Proteoplast, that is protein storing plastids. An example of proteoplast is that is in the pulses, that is bean, different kinds of other pulses, barley, gram, etc. So they are stored in the protein seeds. Lipoplast, they are lipid storing plastids. Lipoplast, they are fats or lipid storing plastid, and they are abundantly present in the oily seeds, that is castor bean seeds, mustard seeds, cotton seeds, canola, etc. So these are the three kinds of leucoplast. Also, these three kinds of plastid, they are interconverted into each other. It depends upon the maturity of the plant, age of the plant, and the environmental condition or season of the season in which the plants grow or complete their life cycle. So it can be imagined by a triangular relationship. So this triangle indicates the interconversion of three kinds of plastids into each other. It depends upon the age of the plant, maturity of the plant, and season. That is chloroplast. Chloroplast can be converted into chromoplast. Chromoplast can be converted into chloroplast, and chromoplast can be converted into leucoplast, leucoplast into chromoplast, chromoplast into leucoplast. So this triangle indicates the interconversion of Conversion of plastids in each other, and it depends upon the age of the plant, life cycle of the plant, and season. So these three kinds of what plastid, they can be converted into each other. So this is evident from the relationship of what this is evident from this triangular structure, that is chloroplast into chromo, chromo into leuco, leuco into chromo, chloro into leuco, leuco into chromo, chromo into leuco. So this is all about today's topic, that is the plastids. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In today's topic we will discuss about the most important cell organelles of the eukaryotic cell, that is the nucleus. Based upon the presence and absence of nucleus or nuclei, the cells, they are divided into two types, that is prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell, they have a definite nucleus with definite nuclear membrane in them, while in the prokaryotic cell a definite nucleus and nuclear membrane, they are absent. So based upon the presence and absence of nucleus, the living cells can be divided into two types. Now, what is nucleus in the eukaryotic cell? Nucleus is regarded as the brain or heart or control center of the cell, because it carry out different metabolic activity, it control different metabolic activity occurring inside in the cell. Just like in the human body, brain control all the bodily activities. Similarly, in the eukaryotic cell, all the activities occurring inside in the cells, in the living cells, they are in the control of what? Nucleus. So because of this feature, because of this characteristic, they are called brain of the cell. Why it is called heart of the cell? Because of its location. In the case of animal cell, they are located in the center of the cell, while in the case of plant cell, they are located at the margin of the cell. Now let's talk about the detail of what nucleus. First of all, who discovered this important cell organelles? This important cell organelles was discovered by a Scottish botanist Robert Brown in 1838 in the orchids flowers. Now morphology is all about the size and shape. Size suggests that in the case of plants, the size of nucleus is 10 micrometer, while in the case of mammals, it is 6 micrometer in diameter. So because of its prominent organelles and its larger size, this is the first organelles which can be seen even with the help of what? Compound microscope in the plant cell as well as in the animal cells after staining technique. And also because of its large size, it occupies 10% volume of the cell. It occupies 10% volume of the cell. So this is all about the size of what? Nucleus. Now shape. In the shape, they are irregular or spherical or rounded in shape. The number suggests that the number of nuclei, they are varies. It depends upon the type of cell and the type of organism. Three different types of condition exist, that is mononucleate condition, the condition where only one nucleus is present per cell. For example, in ordinary plant cell and animal cell, that is somatic cells, each cell have one nucleus in them. The condition is called uninucleate or monokaryotic condition. Second condition is binucleate or dikaryotic condition, that is the occurrence of what? Two nuclei per cell. It can be seen in the human skeletal muscles. human skeletal muscles and also in the euglena. In the euglena, that is micronuclei and micronuclei. Multinucleate condition. Multinucleate condition, the condition where different nuclei they are present, several nuclei they are present. The condition is called multinucleate condition, and it can be seen in the fungi or fungal cell, the condition of the mycelium, hence called cynocytic mycelium, cynocytic condition. Cynocytic condition. Multinucleate condition again also present in the human skeletal muscles in the monocytes, cells. The condition of the nuclei will be multinucleate condition. Also there are cells having no nucleus in them, they are devoid of what? Nucleus. No nucleus is present in them. They are called anucleate cells. Anucleate cells are those cells having no nucleus in them. Typical example is mature red blood cells or erythrocytes. As I have told you that mature red blood cells, they have no nucleus. They are not cells, they are just respiratory pigment. At young stage they have nucleus and other cell organelles in them, but once the red blood cells mature, so it lost its that is living content, cell organelles including the nucleus, and they just act as respiratory pigment to carry oxygen from the lungs to the remote part of the body. So that is why mature red blood cells or erythrocytes have no nucleus in them. At young stage it have nucleus in them, but once it matures, so it lost its nucleus and become anucleate cells, because it will act as a respiratory pigment to carry oxygen. Another example of anucleated cell in the plant is sieve tube elements. Sieve tube elements, they are the cells of what? Phloem tissue. So these are the cells in the plants which also lack nucleus, and hence they are called anucleate cells. So this is the condition of the number of the nuclei, that is the absence and presence of nuclei in different cells. Now parts of the nucleus. A nucleus can be divided into 4 components, that is nuclear membrane, which is also called envelope, nucleolus, nucleoplasm, and genetic material, that is chromosomes. We will discuss these components of the nucleus in detail with the help of this diagram. This is the diagram of cell nucleus, which show all these 4 components, that is nuclear membrane, nucleolus, nucleoplasm, and genetic material. First of all, nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane, the membrane which surround the nucleus. As in the case of eukaryotic cells, a typical nucleus is present surrounded by a typical or different nuclear membrane. So a membrane is envelope like structure. Envelope in any structure which is which is bounded by, which is the combination of 2 membrane. Here 2 membrane they are present, that is outer membrane and inner membrane. Outer membrane of the nucleus, it is extended towards the endoplasmic reticulum, because endoplasmic reticulum is the first organelle which is in direct link with the outer membrane. So outer membrane of the nucleus is attached or connected or extended towards the endoplasmic reticulum, while inner membrane, you can say in the inner membrane of the nucleus, it protects the inner content of the cell, and it protects the inner component of the nucleus from escaping. So this is the function of inner membrane. Outer membrane, it gives a definite shape to the nucleus, it extends up to the endoplasmic reticulum, while inner membrane, it enclose or it protect the content of the nucleus, that is the nucleolus, nucleoplasm and genetic material or chromosomes. Outer and inner membrane, they are connected with each other, but not completely they are connected with each other, because at different sides they having pores in them. They are porous. Nuclear membrane have pores in them, they are porous, and with the help of these, which are called nuclear pores, and with the help of these nuclear pores, the material, they are coming from the nucleus toward the cytoplasm of the cell, as exchange of material occur from the cytoplasm towards the nucleus and from the nucleus toward the cytoplasm with the help of what? These pores, which are called nuclear pores. And these pores, they have a definite size and diameter and polarity, because specific ions and substances can pass through these pores according to their size, diameter and polarity. Also, the number of these nuclear pores, they are different in different cells, because it depends upon the cells. Either cells they are differentiated cells or undifferentiated cell. Undifferentiated cells, they have numerous number of pores, while differentiated cells, they have fewer number of pores in them. So different pores they are present. For example, undifferentiated cell, the example is erythrocytes. Young red blood cells have multiple pores, while differentiated cells, which are mature cells, they have fewer number of pores, that is nuclear pores in them. And these pores, they are responsible for the exchange of material between the inner environment of the nucleus and outer environment of the cell, that is cytoplasm. And what is the chemical composition of the nuclear membrane? Nuclear membrane is consists of protein and lipid, just like other membrane, that is the cell membrane and the biomembrane which surround the cell organelles, including the nucleus. So this is all about the nuclear membrane. Then the second region is called nucleolus. Nucleolus is enclosed by inner membrane. Inner membrane encloses the nucleolus plus nucleoplasm and genetic material. Whatever present inside in the nucleus, it is protected by inner membrane. And also this is the inner membrane which provide a barrier or hurdles to these membrane contents from escaping towards the cytoplasm. So this is the function of inner membrane. And inner membrane, as I have told you, it includes these components, that is nucleolus, nucleoplasm and genetic material. Under the electron microscope, when we observe the inner component of the nucleus, so a darkly stained body can be seen. When the nucleus is stained with the help of specific staining technique, so a darkly stained body can be seen inside in the nucleus, inside in the inner membrane of the nucleus. This darkly stained body is called nucleolus. The number of nucleolus, they are one or many or several. It depends upon the type of nucleus and type of cell. Nucleolus is also regarded as a suborganelle of the nucleus, because nucleus is itself an organelle. A suborganelle inside in the nucleolus is nucleolus. Plural word is nucleoli. So nucleolus is also regarded as suborganelle of the cell because of its importance, or they play an important role. and it appears as darkly stained body. Also, the nucleolus is a non-membranous structure, non-membranous region. It is not surrounded, it is not enclosed by any membranous structure. It is further consists of what? Two component. It can be seen with the help of this diagram. This is a nucleolus, which is a darkly stained body, irregular region, non-membranous region, having no membranes surrounded by this nucleolus region. The outermost region is granular region. This is granular. This is called granular region due to the presence of what? Ribosome. These are the ribosomes. As ribosomes, they are granular. That is small unit of ribosome and larger unit of ribosome. So because of the presence of what? Ribosome, the outer portion of the outer region of the nucleolus appear as granular region. Also, because of the presence of the granules of ribosome, nucleolus is regarded as factory of what? Ribosome, or they are involved in the assembly of what? Ribosomes factory. They are involved in the assembly of what? Ribosomes factory. So nucleolus is also regarded as factory of what? Ribosome synthesis. Just like ribosome, they are called factory of protein synthesis. Nucleolus is called or regarded as factory of what? Ribosome synthesis, or ribosomes assembly occur here in this region of the nucleus. So that is why the peripheral or marginal region of the nuclei, they are granular. These granules, they are actually of what? Ribosomes or ribosomal units. The central portion of the nucleolus, they are fibrillar. Fibrillar means they are consist of what? Fiber. What kind of fibers they are present? These fibers, they are actually what? That is RNA and rDNA. So DNA and RNA, they are what? Helical structure. RNA is single stranded molecule, while DNA is double helical structure. So these molecules, they are present in the form of what? Fibers. So that is why it form a region inside in the nucleolus. That is why this region of the nucleolus appear as fibrillar region, because of the presence of what? RNA and rDNA in them. Now what is rDNA? R stands for what? That is ribosomal DNA. Ribosomal DNA. rDNA or ribosomal DNA is also act as what? NOR. What is NOR? That is nucleolus organizing region. Nucleolus organizing region. This is not a simple DNA. rDNA is not a simple DNA, but it is called NOR, that is nucleolus organizing region, because they are involved in the formation of what? Nucleolus region, or they control the function of what? That is the nucleolus region. So that is why it is called rDNA, that is ribosomal DNA, or it acts as NOR region. So this is all about the word nucleolus. So because of the importance of nucleolus, nucleolus is also regarded as suborganelle of the nucleus. Nucleus is itself an organelle. Inside in the nucleus, a suborganelle is present, which is called as nucleolus. Then around the nucleolus, inside in the inner membrane, a colloidal mixture can be seen, which is called nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is regarded as cytoplasm of the cell, and this nucleoplasm is consist of a colloidal mixture. Colloidal mixture of what? Different kinds of organic salt, different kinds of inorganic salts, ions, chromated material, which later on become chromosome. All these material, they are present in this part of the nucleus, which is called nucleoplasm. Just like in the cytoplasm of the cell, all the material, cell organelles, enzymes, coenzyme, large molecules, small molecules, they are present in this way. In this case, the nucleoplasm of the nucleus is the storage house of what different kinds of material. That is why it is also called a colloidal mixture of what ions, organic salts, inorganic salts, and it also contains the chromatin material or genetic material in the form of what chromosomes. So this is all about the nucleoplasm. Then the fourth component is the genetic material. Genetic material, they are also present in the nucleoplasm in the form of what chromatin material, which can be seen as condensed body, these are called chromatin material. When the cell division start, so these chromatin material, they are transformed into chromosomes. They are thread-like structure, act as genetic material. So first of all, they are chromatin material. When the cell is at rest stage, when the cell division start, so these chromatin material, they are transformed into chromosomes. They are present in prokaryotic cell as well as in the eukaryotic cells. If we consider the chromosome of what eukaryotic cell, so the chromosome of eukaryotic cell consists of two portions, that is called the chromatids and the centromere. What are chromatids? Chromatids, they are called arms of the chromosomes. Having genes in them, having DNA in them, heredity material, they are also called the heredity material. In between the chromatids, they are attached with the help of what? Centromere. Centromere is a DNA region of what chromosome, which connect two sister chromatids with each other. Chromatids, they are the arms of what? Chromosomes. So this region is called centromere. Another component of the chromosome is kinetochore. Kinetochore is a protein. Remember, centromere is the DNA region which attach two arms of the chromosome, or they attach, or they combine two, or they bind two sister chromatids of the chromosomes together. So this region, DNA region, is called centrosomes. While centrosome consists of a protein that is called kinetochore. Kinetochore is the name of a protein which help in the formation of what? Spindle fibers. The spindle fiber formation is because of what? Kinetochore protein. And these spindle fibers then pull the chromosome from the equator of the cell toward the pole of the cell, and hence the cell divide, that is called daughter cell, and it have half the number of chromosome if the cell division is meiosis, and double the number of chromosome if the cell division is mitosis. Now centromere, as I told you, this is the DNA region of what? Chromosome, that determine kinetochore formation and sister chromatid cohesion, because the sister chromatid cohesion or binding in the chromosome is because of what? This kinetochore formation. This kinetochore formation and sister chromatid cohesion is because of what? This centromere, which is a region of what? DNA in the chromosome of what? Eukaryotic cell. Also the position of centromere, they are different, and because of the position of what? Centromere, different kinds of chromosome exist, that is acrocentric, metacentric, submetacentric, and telocentric. These are the 4 different kinds of what? Chromosome in the human cell. And chromosomes, they are the hereditary material. They are thread-like structure which can only be observed when the cell start cell division. And each chromosome is eukaryotic chromosome is consist of what? That is chromatid and centromere. Chromatids, they are the arms of the chromosome which have genes in them, which have DNA in them, genetic material in them. And these genetic material or DNA have genetic characteristic, heredity characteristic, which are transmitted from parents to their offsprings. The number of chromosome depend, the number of DNA in an individual depend upon the number of chromosome in them. So that is why different organisms have different number of chromosome. For example, human have 46 number of chromosome, and these chromosome have genes and DNA in them or genetic material in them which can pass through offspring from their parents when there is sexual reproduction. So that is why the offspring resemble their parents. So this is all about the nucleus and their role, component. Thank you.